Good afternoon, everyone. And Wendy, thank you for inviting me. At least I think I'm grateful. Let me start with my first confession today. I almost said no to this invitation today. Usually, I never say no to NGOs, my clients, but this time I hesitated. Not because I don't love We Do, I do, as we all do, but because I still have some mild PTSD from my last visit. A couple of years ago, at the Women's Entrepreneurship Day on the 10th anniversary, I walked into this very room and looked around and froze. I was one of only a few men, and I was the only non-entrepreneur. It felt like I had stumbled into a top secret gathering that I was absolutely not cool enough to join. And remember, I grew up with only brothers, went to an all boys high school, and suddenly found myself surrounded by terrifyingly capable women entrepreneurs, basically a stadium full of Wendy's. My survival instincts whispered, run. And so when Wendy emailed me again this year, I thought if I don't reply, perhaps she will forget. But you know Wendy, and when she wants something, there's no escape. She emailed, text, WhatsApp, LinkedIn, and I'm pretty much sure she was ready for a messenger drone to be take off. And so here I am, honored, inspired, but slightly nervous. Ladies and almost entirely ladies. This year is a special year for United Nations. This is our 80th anniversary. And for an 80-year-old the UN is still standing, sometimes wobbling, but still standing. The UN was created after 2 world wars to keep peace and security, rebuild nations, and protect human rights. And yes, we've made real progress. No World War III. Human rights became a universal language. Development expanded across the continents. But let's be honest, 2025 is not 1945. The world is on fire still. Climate crisis, pandemics, inequality, digital threats, wars. And the UN is trying. But all tools don't fix new problems. It's like trying to fix a smartphone with a toolkit from grandpa. And friends, 10 years ago, world leaders gathered here and adopted the 17 Sustainable Development Goals unanimously to be achieved by 2030. And now we have only 5 years left. 5 years. And here's the truth, not the diplomatic version. We have achieved less than 20% of the goals. Less than 20%. And if the UN was a private company, the board wouldn't just call a meeting. We might already have been restructured, merged, or even fired. But the world cannot tackle global problems without the UN, and we cannot allow the United Nations that fails. Because today's crises are too big, too complex, and too interconnected for any nation to handle alone. And as former Secretary General Ban Ki-moon said, There is no plan B because there is no planet B. So the only option is the UN must change. It must evolve. It must get more efficient, faster, smarter, and yes, tougher when necessary. Because neutrality does not mean silence, and diplomacy does not mean inaction. The UN must become stronger, and it can only become stronger through partnership. Let me be very clear. The UN will not be able to meet sustainable development goals without you. Period. We need new ideas. We need new pressure and new accountability. Also, we definitely need women's voices because the data is clear. Societies with women leaders are more stable, more democratic, and more peaceful. We need the private sector because innovation does not come from 100-page long UN reports. And frankly, we need partners who can move fast and strong because the world has no time for slow. As chief of NGO branch, I work with more than 6,500 NGOs from all over the world. And today, NGO includes far more than traditional civil society organizations. It includes foundations, universities, and private sectors like you. The UN door is open, not just open, it's wide open, and we need you inside. Ladies, and mostly ladies, and when the UN was founded in 1945, rooms like this were filled with men in dark suits and cigars. No women, no diversity, no innovation. If they could see this room today, they would be shocked and they would realize that the world has finally grown up. And here is my second confession. Yesterday at the NASDAQ event, someone dropped a small earring on the floor, and I picked it up for her. I still think she did it on purpose. We talked and was genuinely moved by her story. Late last night, I learned more about her through the documentary, Seeing All Red. And yes, it was her, Gloria Allred. Woman who didn't just change the narrative, she changed this country. She pushed the nation to confront the truth. It didn't want to hear. She used her laws, voice, courage, and unshakable principles to bend history forward. And today, right here, standing together with her, you are part of that sense of the same tradition. You changed the numbers, you changed the narratives, you changed the history, and turned it into her story. And I can feel that same spirit spreading across this room and out into the world to achieve the global goals together. Let me close with the words from former Secretary General Mr. Kofi Annan. More than ever before in human history, we share a common destiny. We can master it only if we face it together. And today, in this room, that destiny is clearer than ever. Women and men, governments and entrepreneurs, the UN and the civil society, we are not competing. We are co-authoring the world that comes next. Your partnership strengthens the UN. Your innovation accelerates the SDGs. Your courage gives hope. to prepare who have lost it. And I'm deeply honored to stand with you today. And as Gloria said, the fight has just begun. Thank you, and let's shape the future of history and change the world into a better place. Thank you very much.